I think some healthcare professionals do not understand yet what is going to happen in the future because we have access to AI and ChatGPT as essentially consumers of healthcare services. Shall we say that? So essentially the other month, I just went to my gynecologist and I wanted to get some blood work done. I demanded to get blood work done because I could tell certain things were going on in my body and I just wanted to know. And I think I have the right to know. So I'm getting the blood work done and then I get it like, a few days or a couple of weeks later. And I go ahead, and this is like one of the ways that I use ChatGPT, and upload it to ChatGPT and tick that little box where it says deep research. I'll show you right now. This little box right here. And so she has given me a recommendation. One of the levels that were low for me was iron. She's giving me a recommendation for some tablets or pills to take that weren't the best, to be honest. I found a better supplement, but okay. But she did not tell me, even though she kind of mentioned during our conversation, since, people living in Switzerland, most of us usually are vitamin D deficient. And that's kind of like, oh, that's just like everyone's vitamin D deficient. Don't worry about it. Now, since I'm not a healthcare professional, but I'm somewhat of a wellness, nerd or health nerd, as much as it can be without proper education. And I know I didn't notice that at first, right? So I obviously don't know how to read necessarily like my lab results from the blood work I had done because I'm not trained to do that. But then when I was uploading it to ChatGPT later and I realized that she did not really tell me, I was really on the border of how deficient it was because it explained it to me in easy English. I was a little bit shocked because, in case you do not know that yet, I know most people think vitamin D is important because it gives you stronger immune system and bone health, which I'm a woman, it's important, right? Like it makes you happier, right? It enhances your mood, but it also acts somewhat of a hormone. But I think for me personally, why it's so important and why it can have a direct effect is that it strengthens your inner gut lining, like the gut barrier. So it protects and maintains a healthy gut lining and it balances your gut microbiome. And like your gut is your second brain, right? Gut and brain are connected with each other as well. It also reduces gut inflammations. So if you've been chronically vitamin D deficient and that's something that you never get checked on, surprise, surprise, by a lot of doctors, something you need to be looking at, right? To essentially balance out. Health is never black and white, right? Especially when we're looking at really the causes or what really caused certain sort of symptoms. So yeah, if your gut barrier is weak, you could have things like, like a leaky gut, because your gut lining is like a coffee filter. Lets the right nutrients through and blocks toxins and bacteria. So if your gut barrier is weak, it's like a coffee filter that is teared open and that's not like really yummy coffee, is it? So bad stuff can essentially leak into your bloodstream. Okay, so enough with like the science lesson. Again, I'm not a healthcare professional. Do your own research. But I just wanted to give you a creative way or inspire you a way to actually use ChatGPT in your own life, because it does feel like it gives us, again, I say consumers, a certain amount of power that hasn't been there yet. And I do think if you're a healthcare professional, you have to be aware a little bit of it and be a futurist and imagine where, the whole situation also with AI and artificial intelligence and people consuming is going to go. And I'm not saying, obviously, I think there's a place, a time and a place, obviously, very important. Doctors are very important. But I do say, I think you cannot disregard certain things anymore. And I think you have to like really check in with you and explain certain things correctly and take the time to explain certain things correctly to your patients if you don't already do that. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comments. Have you used ChatGPT in this way before? Let me also know in the comments.